Hey everybody, it's Holly. As you guys know, I just put out a data series. I'm starting it. And I was actually going to start the art series alongside of this. But right now we're just doing a quick little one-off. This is going to be me taking the online version of the Oxford Capacity Analysis. Now, for those of you who are unaware, the Oxford Capacity Analysis is the personality test that Scientology will have you take almost as soon as you step into the front door of the org for the first time. And by org, I mean a class 5 org where you can get your basic services pre-OT levels. So that includes anything up to clear. This does apply to missions as well. They do give out this test, as well as an IQ test, I think, in some places. And a couple other things. I can't remember exactly what the other tests are, but I've taken the Oxford Capacity Analysis a couple of times, but I think what we're going to do here is we're just going to dive into it together so you can see the kinds of questions that they ask, how weird it can get. And I think we're just going to get started right now. So, you got your yes, no, maybe questions. There's 200 of them, and at the end, you'll be calculated with the result. So, do you make thoughtless remarks or accusations which you later regret? Yes. When others are getting rattled, do you remain fairly composed? Sometimes. Do you browse through railway timetables, directories, or dictionaries just for pleasure? No. When asked to make a decision, would you be swayed by your like or dislike of the personality involved? Potentially. Do you intend 2 or less children in your family, even though your health and income will permit more? Yes, I do not want children. Do you get occasional twitches of your muscles when there's no logical reason for it? Yes, people get muscle spasms. It's perfectly fine. Would you prefer to be in a position where you did not have the responsibilities of making decisions? In some scenarios, not in all of life. But, I mean, overall, yeah, why not? Are your actions considered unpredictable by other people? I'd say not really. Do you consider more money should be spent on Social Security? Now, I don't keep up with politics. I don't care about politics. I'm sick of all of it. And Social Security tends to be a political issue, and it's not really one that I care about. So I'm just going to say maybe as an answer of not yes, not no, but I don't know kind of thing. Do other people interest you very much? Yes. Is your voice monotonous rather than varied in pitch? No. Do you normally let the other person start the conversation? Depends on the situation. Are you readily interested in other people's conversations? I mean, does that make me nosy if I am? Feels kind of bad to say that, but I'm just gonna say yes. Would the idea of inflicting pain on game, small animals, or fish prevent you from hunting or fishing? No, hasn't prevented me from fishing. I've never hunted, actually. I've always wanted to. Are you often impulsive in your behavior? No. Do you speak slowly? Not usually, no. Are you usually concerned about the need to protect your health? I'm not concerned about it on a minute-by-minute basis, if that's what you're referring to. If I'm constantly worried about it, I'm not usually concerned about the need. Does an unexpected action cause your muscles to twitch? Sounds like a flinch. So I'm going to say maybe, because I have no idea what he means by this. Are you normally considerate in your demands on your employees, relatives, and pupils? Yes. Do you consider that you could give a valid snap judgment? No. I like to think out stuff before I make any kind of decisions. Do your past failures still worry you? No. Do you find yourself being extra active for periods lasting several days? No. Do you resent the efforts of others to tell you what to do? Not really, no. Is it normally hard for you to own up and take the blame? No, I can understand if I'm at fault. Do you have a small circle of close friends rather than a large number of friends or speaking acquaintances? Yes. Is your life a constant struggle for survival? No. Do you often sing or whistle just for the fun of it? Yes. Are you considered warm-hearted by your friends? Yes. Would you rather give orders than take them? Not usually. I usually feel that with leadership comes more stress for me. Do you enjoy telling people the latest scandal about your associates? No. Could you agree to strict discipline, not Sea Org strict? So, depends on the discipline, but overall I'm going to say no. Would the idea of making a complete new start cause you much concern? Yes. Do you make efforts to get others to smile and laugh? Yes. Do you find it easy to express your emotions? Yeah, hormones don't help with that. Well, hormones help a lot with that. But, yeah, no, I'll occasionally just break down for no fucking reason. Do you refrain from complaining when the other person's late for an appointment? Yes. Are you sometimes considered by others a spoil sport? No. Do you consider there are other people who are definitely unfriendly towards you and work against you? Here's Hubbard's paranoia complex. No. Would you admit you were wrong just to keep the peace? Like I said, it depends on the situation. Do you have only a few people of whom you're really fond? Yes. Are you rarely happy unless you have a special reason? I'm not rarely happy. I'm usually happy. Did you know the OCA is scientific and a factual assessment of 10 key personality traits that determine success and happiness in life? It's not scientific, and it's not factual. Do you circulate around at a social gathering? Maybe. Depends on how well I know the people. Do you take reasonable precaution to prevent accidents? Yes. Does the idea of talking in front of people make you nervous? Yes. If you saw an article in a shop mistakenly marked lower than its correct price, would you try to get it at that price? Not usually. I tend to be honest about that kind of stuff because I would feel that someone would find out anyway if I was trying to scam them out of that. Do you often feel that people are looking at you or talking about you behind your back? No. Are you always getting into No, I'm good at two shoes. Have you any particular hate or fear? I think everyone has particular hates and fears, so yes. Do you prefer to be an onlooker rather than participate in any active sport? Yes. Do you find it easy to be impartial? Yes. Have you a definitely set standard of courteous behavior in front of other members of your family? Relatively courteous. Can you start the ball rolling at a social gathering? Actually, let's go back a second on that question. Have you definitely set? It depends on the family member. Can you start the ball rolling at a social gathering? Maybe. Would you buy on credit with the hope that you can keep up with the payments? No, I'd buy on credit if I knew I could keep up the payments. Do you get an after reaction when something unexpected, such as an accident or other disturbing incident, takes place? Don't most people? Do you consider the good of all concerned rather than your own personal advantages? Sometimes. When hearing a lecturer, do you sometimes experience the idea that the speaker is referring entirely to you? No. Does external noise rarely interfere with your concentration? No, it can distract me a lot. Are you usually up to date on everyday affairs? Somewhat. Can you confidently plan and work towards carrying out an event in 6 months' time? Not confidently, but I could do it. I could try. Do you consider the modern prisons without bars system doomed to failure? Now, I've looked this up before, and I cannot figure out for the life of me what exactly Hubbard is referring to, because when I'm thinking of, for a type of prison without bars system, I'm thinking of maybe house arrest, or some people refer to it like the prisons they have in, like, Scandinavian countries where inmates are allowed actually a lot of freedom. Overall, I'm going to say maybe because I have no idea what the question is asking. Do you tend to be careless? No. Do you ever get a dreamlike feeling toward life when it all seems unreal? Sometimes, but probably not the way that you're thinking. I am a learning lucid dreamer, and there are some times, based on my experiences from my dreams and what I've noticed in my dreams, I've never actually looked into it as much, but when I become lucid in a dream and I look around and I interact with things, I cannot distinguish between that and real life. It's become so lifelike to me. that now if I'm in the waking world and I'm doing a reality check or something like that, yeah, I'll have the feeling, I'll be like, well, what if I'm dreaming right now? But then again, that's the whole point of a reality check. Sorry about this tangent, but I kind of want to talk about this. Um, but yeah, lucid dreaming, and when you really focus on it, it's weird because there was one dream I had where I was standing on the side of a pool, like standing on the ground next to an in-ground pool. And I had become lucid at that moment, so my first thought was to try to get a tactile sensation of the environment. I slammed my foot on the ground maybe 3-4 times. The first 2 or 3 times, it didn't necessarily register in my head, but in the 4th time, I could feel my foot hit that floor. And it was, once I realized what was happening, it was incredible. I never had so much of an idea until now how realistic dreams could truly be. So, I do sometimes get a dreamlike feeling towards life. Yes, I do get it. It doesn't say do you get them often, it says do you ever get it? And then yes, I do get it. Do you speedily recover from the effects of bad news? Maybe. When you criticize, do you at the same time try to encourage? Yes. Are you normally considered cold? No. Are your opinions insufficiently important to tell other people? Sometimes, well, I mean, it depends on if you're having a conversation with somebody or if you're just blurting it out, but I'm going to say maybe. Are you so self-assured that sometimes you annoy others? No. Do you keep close contact on articles of yours which you have loaned to friends? No. Do you enjoy activities of your own choosing? I don't know how you enjoy activities not of your own, unless the activities are not of your own choosing and you end up enjoying them. I'm going to say yes. Does emotional music have quite an effect on you? Yes. Do you completely condemn a person because he is rival or opponent in some aspect of your relationships, of your relations with him? No, I don't completely condemn them. Do you often sit and think about death, sickness, pain, and sorrow? No, I don't. Are you perturbed at the loss? Are you perturbed at the idea of loss of dignity? Not really. Are you always collecting things which might be useful? No. Would you criticize faults and point out the bad points on someone else's character or handiwork? Depends. Are you openly appreciative of beautiful things? Yes. Do you sometimes give away articles which, strictly speaking, do not belong to you? No. Do you greet people effusively? We're going to have to look up the word effusive. So I can't highlight, so let's look up the word. Let's clear it up. Let's look up effusive. Expressing feelings of gratitude, pleasure, or approval in an unrestrained or heartfelt manner. Sometimes I'll greet people in a heartfelt manner, yes. Do you often ponder on previous misfortunes? No. Are you sometimes considered forceful in your actions and opinions? Sometimes. Do you accept criticism easily and without resentment? Sometimes. Are you usually undisturbed by noises off when you're trying to rest? I don't know if he means noises going off when you're trying to rest or just having silence. I would say if it's silence, then yes, I'm undisturbed. If noises are going off, I'm going to get distracted, but I'm going to say yes because I assume he means things are shut down, things are quiet. Are you likely to be jealous? No. Well, some situations. Do you tend to put off doing things and then discover it's too late? No. Do you prefer to abide by the wishes of others rather than seek to have your own way? No. Do you find it easy to get yourself started on a project? Yes. Do you bite your fingernails or chew the end of your pencil? Yes. Do you turn up the volume of your emotions just to create an effect? No. If we were invading another country, would you feel sympathetic towards conscientious objectors in this country? Okay, so the United States is invaded. Wow. I never thought about how much of a relation that had to what's happening now. That question has been there for a long time. That question was here way before Ukraine. Okay, so let's say the U.S. is invading another country. Would I feel sympathetic as a civilian towards conscientious objectors in this country? I'd say yes. Are there some things about yourself on which you're touchy? Yes. Do you have few interests and activities that are your own choice? No. Do you ever get a single thought which hangs around for days? No. Are you a slow eater? Definitely not. Can you be a stabilizing influence when others get panicky? I can be. Would you stop and find out whether a person needed help even though they had not directly asked you for it? Yeah, I do that all the time in retail. Are you prejudiced in favor of your own school, club, college, or team, etc.? Yes. Do you pay your debts and keep your promises when it's possible? Yes. Do you sleep well? Yes. Would you use corporal punishment on a child aged 10 if it refused to obey you? I wouldn't use corporal punishment on a child. Do you prefer to take a passive role in any club or organization to which you belong? Not necessarily, because I did take a vice president position in my school's cybersecurity club. So, it depends on the subject. Are you logical and scientific in your thinking? Yes. And as we already saw, the data series is all about logic. This is the half... Yes, I called myself Ho, I know. Just because I didn't want to give them any of my real information. This is the halfway mark. Take your time and answer every question as things are right now. Does the youth of today have more opportunity than that of a generation ago? Yes. Do you throw things away only to discover that you need them later? No. Would you give up easily on a given course if it were causing you a considerable amount of inconvenience? No. Do you wax enthusiastic about only a few subjects? All right. We're going to look up wax enthusiastic. A person filled with or motivated by enthusiasm. A fanatic. So, do I wax enthusiastic about only a few subjects? Scientology, lucid dreaming, some other cults. So, yeah. Do you rarely suspect the actions of others? Yes, I rarely suspect them. Do you sometimes wonder if anyone really cares about you? No. Do you turn down responsibility because you doubt your fitness to cope? Sometimes. Do you sometimes feel compelled to repeat some interesting item or tidbit? Depends on the tidbit. Do you tend to exaggerate a justifiable grievance? No. Is your facial expression varied rather than set? I'd say it's varied. Do you usually need to justify or back up an opinion once stated? Not usually. Do you openly and sincerely admire beauty in other people? Yes. Would it take a definite effort on your part to consider the subject of suicide? Yes. Would you consider yourself energetic in your attitude toward life? Yes. Would a disagreement affect your general relationship with another person? Maybe. Does a minor failure on your part rarely trouble you? I don't know why Hubbard does this, why they do this with the question phrasing, saying rarely. Why don't they just ask if it does or not? Does a minor failure on your part rarely trouble you? Yes. Do you sometimes feel that you talk too much? No. Actually, I'm not a huge talker. Do you smile much? Yes. Are you easily pleased? Yes. When met with direct opposition, would you still seek to have your own way rather than give in? No, I'd rather compromise. Did you know the Oxford Capacity Analysis graph will highlight the strengths of your personality and also point out the weak areas that are holding you back in life? Provided the distance were not too great, would you still prefer to ride than walk? Would you still prefer to ride than walk? No, I like walking. Do you ever get disturbed by the noise of the wind or a house settling down? No. Is your opinion influenced by looking at things from the standpoint of your experiences, occupation, or training? Most people it is. Do you often make tactless blunders? No. Are you suspicious of people who ask to borrow money from you? Yes. Well, hang on. Depends on the person. Are your decisions swayed by personal interest? Depends on the decision. Can you get quite enthusiastic over some simple little thing? Yes. Do you frequently take action even though you know your own good judgment would indicate otherwise? No. Are you in favor of color bar and class distinction? No. Are you aware of any habitual physical mannerisms such as pulling your hair, nose, ears, or such like? Yes. Can you quickly adapt and make use of new conditions and situations even though they may be difficult? Depends. Do some noises set your teeth on edge? Yes. Can you see the other fellow's point of view when you wish to? Yes. Do you go to bed when you want to rather than by the clock? No, I pretty much go by the clock. Do the petty foibles of others make you impatient? Not really. Do children irritate you? Sometimes. Are you less talkative than your associates? Yes. Do you usually carry out assignments promptly and systematically? Depends on the assignment. Would you assist a fellow traveler rather than leave it to the officials? I would try to. When voting, do you vote the same party ticket straight rather than studying the candidates and issues? No. Do you frequently dwell on your past illnesses or painful experiences? No. Do you get very ill at ease in disordered surroundings? No. Do you usually criticize a film or show that you see or a book that you read? No. When recounting some amusing incident, can you easily imitate the mannerisms or the dialect in the original incident? Maybe. And this just makes me think of Dianetics, and they're trying to be like, how good are they for Dianetics? How much can they easily bring up incidents in their past? In subjects about which you're not expert, are your own ideas of sufficient importance as to tell others? Maybe. I don't consider myself an expert in Scientology, but in subjects about which you're not expert, are your own ideas of sufficient importance as to tell others? Maybe. I'm not exactly sure about... Are you meaning like I'm coming up with random shit about the subject? Because if that's the case, I'm not making stuff up to try to seem like an expert. So I'm going to say no based on my interpretation of that question. Do you have a tendency to tidy up a disorder of somebody else's household? Not really. Can you accept defeat easily without the necessity of swallowing your disappointment? Yes. Do you often feel depressed? No. Are you ever ill at ease in the company of children? No. Do you get frustrated at not being able to do something rather than finding a substitute activity or system? No. Are you sometimes completely unable to enter the spirit of things? No. Do you rarely express your grievances? Yes. Do you work in spurts, being relatively inactive and then furiously active for a day or two? I don't have mania. So, no. And that's similar to the question that we heard earlier. Does the number of uncompleted jobs you have on hand bother you? Yes. Do people enjoy being in your company? I'd like to say yes. Could you allow someone to finish those final 2 words in a crossword puzzle without interfering? Yeah, because I don't do them. Do you consider the best points of most people and only rarely speak slightingly of them? Yes. Do you laugh or smile quite readily? Yes. Are you definite and emphatic in voice and manner? I'd say yes. Are you effusive only to close friends, if at all? No. I'm effusive to family, too. This is the final stretch. Once you complete it, you can come in and receive your personality test results and get your free in-person evaluation. Are your interests and field of knowledge so important as to give little time for anything else? No. Would you like to start a new activity in the area in which you live? Maybe. Will you make the necessary actions to kill an animal in order to put it out of pain? I couldn't. Is it... Well, I had to do that with Rocky, my old dog. I didn't kill him. I didn't put him down. I mean, I just helped the vet, but I knew he needed to go. He didn't have any feeling in his back legs. He had cysts, tumors, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I would make... I guess I would make the necessary actions. Is it easy for you to relax? Yes. Do you have little regret on past misfortunes and failures? That reminds me of the other one. It was like, do your past problems rarely trouble you or something like that? Past failures. Do you have little regret on past misfortunes and failures? Yes. Does the idea of fear or apprehension give you a physical reaction? The idea of fear or apprehension? No. Wait, fuck, how did I answer that? Yeah, I said no. Can you trust the decision of your judgment in an emotional situation in which you're involved? Your judgment in an emotional situation in which you're involved. Maybe. Could someone else consider that you were really active? Not really. Do you find it hard to get started on a task that needs to be done? No. Are you opposed to the probation system for criminals? No. Do you spend much time on needless worries? No. In a disagreement, do you find it hard to understand how the other person fails to see your side and thus agree with you? No, I can understand why they may see their side and not mine. Do you cope with everyday problems of living quite well? Yes. Are you usually truthful to others? Yes. Would you rather wait for something to happen as opposed to you causing it? No, I'd like to rather cause it. I don't sit around and wait. Pardon the banging? That's a radiator. Do you spend too freely in relation to your income? No. Can you take a calculated risk without too much worry? Yes. If you were involved in a slight car accident, would you really take trouble to see that any damage you did was made good? Yes. Do others push you around? No. Do you make allowances for your friends where with others you might judge more severely? Yes. Do you often ponder over your own inferiority? No. Do people criticize you to others? No. Are you embarrassed by a hearty greeting such as a kiss, hug, or pat on the back if done in public? No, actually. I don't know why I said yes. Do you frequently not do something you want to do because of other people's desires? No. Are you sometimes convinced of the correctness of your opinions about a subject, even though you're not an expert? Sometimes. I don't. If I'm not an expert, if I'm just gonna say no. Do you often find yourself going off in all directions at once? No. Do your acquaintances seem to think more of your abilities than you do? Yes. Is the idea of death or even reminders of death abhorrent to you? No. Having settled an argument out, do you continue to feel disgruntled for a while? No. Are you friendly in voice, attitude, and expression? Yes. Does life seem rather vague and unreal to you? What's the dream like? Vague and unreal? No. Do you often feel upset about the fate of war victims and political refugees? No. Do mere acquaintances appeal to you for aid or advice in their personal difficulties? No. If you lose an article, do you get the idea that someone must have stolen or mislaid it? No. If you thought that someone was suspicious of you and your actions, would you tackle them on the subject rather than leaving them to work it out? Yes, I would tackle them on it. Do you sometimes feel that your age is against you? No. Do you have spells of being sad and depressed for no reason? No. Do you do much grumbling about conditions you have to face in life? No. Do you tend to hide your feelings? No. Do you consider you have many warm friends? Yes. All right. 200 questions. All done. I am not going to the church. We're just going to see my results here. All right, so I am a -2 in something. I mean, this doesn't help, is it? Okay, so I'm assuming A is composure, B is certainty, C is happiness. Are you saying I'm not happy? Hold on. Let's check out letters on Oxford capacity analysis. All right, let's see what we have. What is this about? It's all about the... Okay, this is all about the OCA. What are the exact points? I want to know. I'm not quite sure, but I am going to read this Wikipedia page because I'm a little curious. So let's take out Oxford capacity analysis results. Let's see if we can find some images for the test. Okay, so we've got... Yeah, I'm using an ad blocker because I don't like ads. Okay, here we go. So we got stability, happiness, and composure. So A in stability, B in happiness, somewhat not composed. Certainty, activity, and aggression. Very certain, low activity, low aggression. Or is that a... average thing, I'm assuming. Responsible, correct estimation. Not responsible? So what do you mean I'm not responsible? Well, because of the activity shit. Correct estimations. Okay, we got those. Appreciative and communication levels. Average appreciative, lower communication. I would think my communication's kind of high. I don't see why this is a thing. But let's see what it recommends. The Personal Efficiency Course using the Problems Workbook. I have that book upstairs, and I don't ever want to take the Personal Efficiency Course. I did listen to Oh No, Ross and Carrie, the podcast. They had a 10-part series going all into the Church of Scientology and actually doing things. And I think the first thing he did was the Personal Efficiency Course. And from what I've heard about it, it does not sound fun. It does not sound effective. But I would like to read the Oxford Capacity Analysis Wikipedia page as well. So, I might put that into a separate video, or am I going to put it in this one? I think I'm going to put it in a separate video. Yeah, I'll put it in a separate video on a little series about the OCA. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it a lot. For those of you who joined my Discord, thank you. Happy to see you guys on there interacting, sharing stuff now. We're looking, we got a few documents in there. I'm just gonna say, like if you like the video, dislike if you don't. I don't care. Comment with your feedback or questions, good, bad, or sideways, and subscribe to be kept up to date on future content. I'll talk to all of you later. See ya.